Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. We are so excited that you are here. We are really excited to talk about spring cleaning your Google Drive. So let's get started. So if you are not seeing a chat window on the right side, there are a couple of steps that we need you to do. And I'm going to let Christy explain the next part because she's the master at it.
Sure thing, Misty. All right, if you had no chat window, it just means you've not ever created a YouTube channel with your Keller ISD Google account. So we do need you to do that really quick. One way we verify attendance is we go back through the chat. So if you will start at the top of YouTube, you've got a gray circle. I have a profile circle. You can see my picture in it, but your picture most likely will not be in your circle up in the top right of your YouTube channel. Click on that once, click create a channel. You're going to use the channel that uses your name and click select and then save and continue. And you might have to refresh to return to kellerisd.net/kickstart, or it might just pop you back into the same window with the same live feed with the chat on the right. But if you'll take a second to do that, it's 3 or 4 simple clicks, your profile image, create a channel, select the one that says use your name for your channel, and save and continue. We would so appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely want you to chat with us. We want questions. We hope we can answer them. We want to engage, and we definitely want to make sure that you are getting everything out of this that you'd like. So if you're participating today and you are needing EQ credit, please watch the entire live event. Introduce yourself in the chat and where you're from, what school, or if you're joining us from outside of Keller, tell us where you're from. We're excited. Please leave at least one comment or ask a question during the live event. And then at the end, you're going to be provided a link to a form to fill out for EQ credit. And then we really ask you to fill out in the next 2 hours because we want to get you credit right away. And that just helps us. So welcome, guys. We are so excited you are here. I've had the spring cleaning craze going on at my house. So I'm really excited to do it with Google Drive. So my name is Misty. And then I also have here Christy. Yes, we are Misty and Christy. And we are your Keller ISD Educational Technology team. And just to kind of help you understand the why of why this is such a big deal. Technology, we are really promoting cleaning out Google accounts and Google Drives because Google Workspace for Education has begun imposing storage limits. So I did a blog post, last fall about that, where they're limiting personal accounts, where they're also limiting school districts in combination with the pricing. So we're working hard to maintain enough Google Workspace storage for teaching and learning in Keller ISD. And if you're like me, we've been here forever. So it's time to start kind of cleaning it out.
All right, this one's me. So we're going to start with what is even in your Google Drive. So in the chat, I want you to give me an emoji. You can give me a hand raising emoji, a winky emoji, smile emoji, whichever emoji you like. Tell me if you've been in Keller since 2017, 2018-ish, when we opened Google Drive as a storage capacity. So if you've been here that long, start shooting emojis over. I'm definitely one of those people. Misty just mentioned she's one of those people. I've got a lot in my Google Drive. So embarrassingly much, I'm not even going to show you mine tonight because it desperately needs to be cleaned out. Sometimes when you're starting to clean something out, the best thing to know is like, what do I even have in here? Like, where can I even start to clean out? So we're going to start in our Google Drive and we're going to look at how much storage you're currently using and how to break that up and kind of get a good feel for what you have. So in the image, which we'll give you the slides as we close out tonight, or at least a link to them, if you're in your Google Drive, you've got a button down here that says storage, and you can click on it. And it will give you some data about what storage you're using and what that storage has been used for. How much is for Gmail? How much is for Drive? How much is for photos? And then we're going to talk about flipping this arrow right here, which is by date, upwards and backwards. How do you say that, Misty? Newest and oldest? I'll say it that way. But on the storage part of it, it's going to sort by size. So what uses the most storage versus what uses the least storage. And when we flip those back and forth, we can kind of see what's taking up the most storage in your drive. So I'm going to do a share, and we are going to look at a Genius Team drive that we have. Okay, so this is a Google Drive that we have in the district. And right here is that storage button. I can see that our Genius Team Google Drive is using 437.3 megabytes. That's not a lot, so that's perfect. 222 are in Drive, 214 are in Gmail, and then I've got 0 in Photos for the Genius Team Drive. Now, the way this is sorted right now, my largest item is on the top. Probably by default, I think when it sorts for you, it's going to put your smallest item on top. And if you saw, I just clicked that arrow, and I've got some things that have 0 bytes of storage. So this is probably just an untitled document that's got nothing in it that needs to go. Some of these things are things shared with me, so they're not taking up my storage because they technically live somewhere else. But this is one great way to start looking at what you have. I flipped that arrow one more time, and I can see that my largest item, is taking up quite a bit of storage, is an untitled web-based, it's probably a webcam video, probably us teaching something. And it's from 2021. Maybe we still need it, maybe we don't, but that would be a good place to start looking at items and thinking, do I really still need this? And you can start deleting from that action if you want to. But there are other ways to start organizing or thinking about your Google Drive. Misty, I think you're next. And she might even sing for us if we're lucky.
All right. Oh, it's trying to share 5 different screens I have. Let's try this again. Come on, Zoom. There we go. All right. Okay. So when I was making this slide, I kid you not, I was like First Wives Club throwback. You don't own me. So I'm just one of your mini files. All right. One of the biggest problems we're seeing lately is that they're cleaning out Google Drive and cleaning out users that have been out of the district for over 5 years, and people are losing access to files they use every day. Well, it's because you don't own them. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to search for people that you do not search for files who are not owned by you to see if those are ones you really, really need and need to make a copy of. All right. So like Christy, I am going to share our Google, our Genius Team Drive with you because it is safe and clean. All right, so I'm in the Genius Team Drive, and I really like the list view. So I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to click list view. So I'm going to come up here to my search bar, just like your Google search bar. And I'm going to come up here to these little lines, and it says type, and then it says owner. So on owner, I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to choose not owned by me. And then I'm just going to click search. And when I do that, all of these files that I have in my drive are not owned by me. So I'm going to click on, or I can click right here, or I can right click on this top file, and I can make a copy. When I make a copy, it's going to make a copy in my drive, and it's going to be owned by me. And so that's the fastest way, just to right click, make a copy, and those copies are now mine. I would suggest finding that copy right away and renaming it, just so that you don't actually accidentally keep editing the version you've been using. You want to copy it and kind of title it so that you know exactly that that one's your copy of that document. But then you might also want to check who it's shared with so that they also still have rights as well.
Thank you, Misty. All the files we don't know that we don't own. And that's it's been a really important part of Google being able to share. The collaborative piece of it is amazing and will continue to be amazing. Just be sure we know who owns files. And that's another reason to use shared drives. In the chat, tell us if your department's using a shared drive. Shared drives are amazing because if someone leaves, all those files stay in the shared drive shared by the department. So go to the chat, tell us if your department's using a shared drive to share files. While you're doing that, we're going to go on to the next tidbit or lesson item. Thank you, Misty. We're going to talk about untamed, untitled files. Genius Team Drive had the perfect example up at the top. How many untitled files do you think you have? If you want to guess in the chat, go right ahead and guess and tell us how many untitled files you have in the drive. While I was working on this part of the training, I went and counted. We also have an educational technology drive where all of our things live so that they are not owned by one person. And we had over 90 untitled files. And really, I mean, thank you, Google, for making the tip of docs.new, slides.new, sheets.new. It's amazing. It's so easy to start a new document, but I'm kind of lazy and I always think, oh, I'll go back later and file that, and I never do. So I'm going to share the Genius Team Drive one more time. And we're going to look for untitled files there. This drive doesn't have as many, but one way you can find all of your untitled files is a simple search. And again, Misty mentioned earlier about list view. I do love working in grid view in Google Drive, but it's a lot easier to do this sorting if you're in list view when you're cleaning out. Just all of the functions or the tips we're giving you today work best in sorting in the list view. So I'm going to go to search and I'm going to go to untitled. And then for location, I'm going to narrow down to just my drive. I want just the untitled files that are mine. So I can see I've got an untitled form here, another one here. If I click and open this, these might be forms that we created when we were teaching classes. Yeah, it looks like an example form, but no one needs that form anymore. It's time for it to go. Probably same with this one. Yep, all those forms need to go. Untitled documents, probably mostly empty. Either started and forgotten by me or lost in the Twilight Zone, who knows? But one way to start cleaning out is to start taming these untitled files first. Now, if you come across a file that you do need, I mean, best practice, give it a name and put it in the folder it belongs in, and that will help you be more organized and start keeping your Google Drive more organized. All right, I think I'm the next one too, Misty. Will you go on to, or actually, let me share. I'll share slides. Next thing we're going to talk about is seeing double. One huge problem with our Google Drives is we've got copies of, or we have duplicates that we don't even know about. So one way to start taming that Google Drive is to start getting rid of duplicates. So to manually locate your duplicates, you can start by searching copy of. Now, Misty had you make some copies of things a while ago, but when you make that copy, be sure you go ahead and rename it what it should be. Don't name it copy of. Take that part out and name it what you want it to be named. When you look through these copies of, you want to make sure that no one else might need them. If somebody else needs them, you want to put them into a shared drive. But mostly, if I have a copy of a Seesaw activity template here, I probably thought that was a great idea and I was going to use it. So I need to rename that and get it get it the correct name. So it's not just the copy of anymore. But one way to start cleaning out is to start getting rid of all these copies of that I don't need anymore. All right, there is another way to start to get rid of copy of. So let's look at, hopefully, well, I think I might have been sharing the wrong thing. Hopefully I wasn't. Misty, was I sharing the drive?
You were sharing the slide deck.
Slides. Oops, sorry. When we pop back over into the drive, I'll show you the copy of search results I had. Sorry about that. Zoom, you gotta love it. Okay, another way to take care of duplicates is to let an extension help you. In the slides, we are using an extension called Cloud Duplicate Finder. It seemed to work great when I tried it out on several drives, so I would recommend it. What you do is you go, and we will go to the drive for this. There we go. Okay, so just kidding. Maybe it just doesn't want to. There we go. Now it's sharing right. Okay, here's my search of copy of, and you can see that even Genius Team Drive has a lot of copy of documents that could be worked on. And here's like these copy of Seesaw activity templates. Definitely things I probably took from a Seesaw training that I just need to file if I'm going to use them instead of letting them just lay around being named copy of. All right. Another thing you can do, again, is use some extension to help you with duplicates. These extensions will actually search out duplicate files that are the same. And so that's super helpful beyond just finding your copy of files. So again, this one's called cloudduplicatefinder.com. You will have to create an account, and then you can log in. And it looks like this when you log in. Because you're cleaning out your Google Drive, you're going to choose Google Drive at the top, and yours won't have anything populated right here. You're going to need to add new drive. And once you click add new drive, it's going to let you choose your Google Drive. What you'll do is you'll run a scan. So if I want to tell it to search my entire Google Drive for duplicates, I'm going to run a scan. It takes it a little while. The more you have in your Google Drive, the longer it's going to take. But when it's done, it's going to pop up a window and it's going to tell me I found 179 duplicate files. I found 124 duplicate files. And then you can look through these files one by one, and you can actually select an action in that extension to delete the file. But you could also just use this for information where you can go back and say, okay, I've got multiple copies of this, and this drive actually has 0 duplicates. So there's 0 wasted space. So that's good news here. But you can select actions if you find duplicates and take care of those files right away. That makes me a little nervous. I'm kind of a control freak when it comes to my files, so I'd probably use the list to help me clean out the drive, but at least it's good information for what duplicates I have. I'm going to close that. We'll do a new share. Back to the slides, Misty, for you.
All right, what song comes to mind, people? Clean up, everybody, everywhere. All right, so I'm a nerd, guys. I own it. All right, so one way we can clean up is to figure out which ones are the oldest. So back in the day, I was a 4th grade teacher. I haven't used that material in so long, or I need to like share it with someone or let them make copies or whatever, then delete it from my drive. So one way to do that is to be in list view and click on last modify. So let's go do that. You know, when you have a million things open. All right, so I'm in the drive again, our Genius Team drive. I'm going to take out this search that I did. All right, so here's my drive. So now I'm over here on the right side. I'm in list view, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say last modified by me. So I'm actually going to do not. Christy, what am I missing?
No, that's it. So if you will pull over
Last
to
modified.
the right.
No, I don't.
There you go.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's late. It's after 4 o'clock. My brain is done. But yes, the last thing modified. To me, I'm like, it's the last thing modified. Like I just modified it. But okay, the last modified. And so it pulled up something from January 10th, 2017. So that would mean that I would want to come in here, look at that and be like, nah, right click, remove. And so that is going to help me go through this list. And then someone asked a really good question earlier. If you hold down shift, you can click multiple things and then I can grab them all and pull them over to trash at the same time. So if you are like cleaning and you don't care what's in there because it's from 2017 and you're like, I'm done, and you want to just shift and delete a whole bunch and drag it over to the trash, you can definitely do that. I'm like Christy, I need a little bit of control in my life. So I want to look in there, make sure I don't need it anymore, and then slide it over to the trash after that. All right. If you've ever, yeah, this is yours, Christy. I don't even know why I'm looking at it. I'm like,
It's
oh, yeah,
okay.
that's mine.
It's all right.
I will let you
Let's go
share
to the
over me.
slide. I'm not even going to go to the drive for this one. We do want to give you a warning. Don't start deleting folders that are named classroom. Just because you're like, I never created a folder named classroom. That's such a non-specific name. If you've ever been part of a Google Classroom or made a Google Classroom and put students in it, in the background, Classroom created a folder in your Google Drive just named Classroom. And inside that Classroom folder is every Google Classroom you've ever been a part of or owned where students were a part of it. The information is in there, the assignment activities are in there. So you don't want to just randomly delete a folder named Classroom. Be sure that you open it up. And if you do decide to start deleting information in this folder, be sure that there are no students in that folder, that it's no longer an active Google Classroom, that the information is no longer needed. Just word of warning, you don't want to go randomly deleting that one because it's kind of important if you've got students in it. Oh, this one's mine too. Okay, with the paring down of the storage of Google Drive, it's super important that we start keeping it separate. I am super guilty of this, so I'll be the first to admit it. It's hard to keep it separate. There are things in my work Google Drive that are personal. There's an example on this page. My kids went through Willis Lane Elementary. One of them has had a senior walk, and I stored the pictures in my work Google Drive. There they are. They're so stinking cute seniors who graduated. I've even shared it with other people. You can see the people I've shared it with right there in the image. But it's time to start removing those. We just don't have enough storage anymore to house everyone's personal items, and the storage that we do have, we need to keep for teaching and learning current students in Keller ISD. So hold me accountable. I'll be going and deleting these, or not deleting, I'll be moving these things that are personal into a personal Google account. But there are more ways to get your personal items out of Google Drive than just moving them to another Google account. You can put them on external drives. You can put them on flash drives. You can put them on a personal device. Misty's going to talk to us next about how you actually can get those items downloaded and then into a personal Google Drive.
All right. So, oh yeah. You know, when you made this slide like a month ago. All right. So when you're in your Google profile, and you're going to know you're in your Keller profile right here because I see the EdTech little circle up at the top next to my URL. So up there, when I'm in my profile, I'm going to click on the vertical 3 dots. Then I'm going to choose settings from the menu. And from that, I'm going to choose downloads. And then it's going to give me the option to change where I want to download. So you can download it to your device. And then you could also change to download to another place, like another drive. So you have a couple of different options to do that from these steps. And like we said, we're going to share this slide deck with you. So you're going to be able to follow along and click and kind of do it side by side so that you can easily download multiple things at one time.
One way to make this easier is if you're going through your drive and you start seeing personal things, drag everything that's personal into one folder that says personal. And then when you're ready to download that personal folder onto a device, you can just grab that whole folder and have it downloaded. Then once that's on a device, it's super easy to choose that folder and upload into a personal Google Drive. So that's the way we think it's best done. One folder down, one folder back up. It just makes it easier for you to keep track of, and you're not thinking, I downloaded 10 pictures here, but 10 doctor's documents over here. Keeping it all together will help it go more easy, or more easy. It'll make it easier.
And it might sound familiar because that's what we had you do. That's what we had you do when we transitioned to the new devices. We had you make one folder on your old device, and then we opened Google Drive, and then we uploaded it to the other drive. So that's definitely something you can do. And it, like Christy said, it makes it so easier when it's all in one folder and you've already sorted it out, and then you can upload.
All right. So what we want you to put in the chat now, we'd like you to put in the chat what's one tip you heard today, and I'll kind of recap them really quickly, that you could start with in your Google Drive. So the first thing we talked about was, I'm going back through my notes, so give me a second. The first things we talked about was just like sorting your contents, like knowing what you even have in Google Drive by knowing how much your storage you're using, what's the biggest item taking up storage. And the next thing we talked about was checking ownership of things, sorting by what's not owned by you and making sure that if you need it, you have a copy of it, or that it's moved to a shared team drive. Then we talked about getting rid of untitled and duplicates next, because those are the easiest things to kind of sort through and be like, I don't need those. They're easy to throw away. And then we talked about just cleaning up, like going in and seeing when your documents were last modified. Like, did you last modify this in 2017? You may not need it anymore then. And then last, we talked about being careful about the Google Classroom folder, but also getting rid of the personal things and getting it out of your Keller ISD drive. So with all that, tell us, what's the tip you think you could start with? Because cleaning, you just have to start somewhere, just some corner of the room, some box that's not been put away, some pile that needs to be gotten rid of, put away. So tell us how you're going to start. And while you're doing that, we'll go through just a few house cleaning things. If you're not aware, we have a KIC page in the district where we put all of our how-tos for all ed tech things. It's www.kellerisd.net/KIC. You click on any of the ed tech tools that are there. It will give you the how-to we have in the district for that. We also run a pretty active social media campaign on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have this YouTube channel for learning. So if there are other things you want to learn, you could check out what's on our YouTube channel as well. If you're here for EQ credit, we are so happy to give it to you. The bit.ly you need is bit.ly/capital KICS Kickstart 2223. Misty and I will both be adding that to the chat. In addition, we have the presentation link, and that's bit.ly/spring clean Google Drive. I've learned a few things, and all those letters are lowercase, so you don't have to remember what to capitalize in that link. Work smarter, not harder. So both of those links will be there for you. And we'll leave the EQ credit form up for a bit. I know that there might have been some questions we did not get answered. We didn't have an extra person to help us with the chat tonight. So if we didn't get your question answered, we'll run back through the chat and try to email you answers to your questions. We'll stay on for just a minute too. If you want to ask your question again because you think it went by earlier and we missed it, you're happy to type that question in again, and we will try to get that answered. It helps if you can spell bit.ly too.
We are so excited you came. It's just good practices to keep your Google Drive pared down, and it's easier to find things, and you're going to be so surprised. You're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that really amazing lesson. So you're going to find some jewels and some nuggets while you're cleaning out. And I feel like you're just like, it's a weight off your shoulders. You're just like, oh, it's clean.
Thanks for you guys' chats. Lots of chatting tonight. We love that. We didn't get time to really talk about it.
Some amazing ideas in the chat. They have an action plan. They are good to go.
Yay. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in. Let me give you guys about 10 more seconds to add other questions. And if not, we'll tell you goodbye for the night. Just don't forget to fill out your EQ credit form if you need that EQ, or it's a good idea to fill it out anyway, just because then it goes in your portfolio that you did the training. And that will stay with you in KIC as you continue in Keller ISD. So fill out that form anyway. It's a pretty simple one. It won't take you very long at all.
Michael, I don't think there's a temporary way to turn off the I am sure. We can definitely look into that. Because that would be really easy. Google Drive, not that we don't know that it's going away. We haven't heard anything. So no for now. We don't know. We just know that they're limiting.
What prompted this is their pricing structure change. So for a while they were offering education unlimited storage, and they are no longer in their pricing structure offering that. So we were never worried about how many videos or pictures or images or anything amazing lessons we kept in Google Drive until now. So we just have to be a little more careful about what we have in there and make sure that it's all for teaching and learning. Carlanda, we've put the link in the chat again. It's bit.ly Kickstart 2223. So hopefully you can see that and just click on it so you don't have to write it down or take a picture of it.
Thank you, Carolyn, we're super happy you were here. Share with your friends. And like Christy said, this will live on our YouTube channel forever. So definitely let your friends know that they can come watch it. And they can always reach out to EdTech. We are here to help you. We've got you.
All right, you guys have a great afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.